Hello and welcome to AAA Wargaming. Apologies for the negligent discharge of my other video. This is actually the third time I've recorded because the second time went completely doolally. So hopefully this time is third time's a charm. And ironically, this is game 3 of Black Country Brawl, a team event that was held in early May. So I've been quite delayed on this, but this is Battle Report number 23. So this was the last game of the Saturday. So everyone's quite tired, everyone's looking a bit jaded, but it was a really good game. Um, the deployment type was marching columns, which is a favourite of mine. I quite like the fact that you've got to plan it and you've got to think about where you deploy and you've got to have those first 3 drops. It's something in the UK we have quite a thing on, which is must deploy first. It's a big thing, and we design our armies whether they're push or shooting and stuff like that. You can see it, but it's a favourite of mine because it stops it, and also my army is quite manoeuvrable, so it doesn't really affect me as much. Is capture the flags, so scoring wise, apart from my forest rangers, my other 2 units don't really need to be a part of the battle, and it's only about 330 points I've lost, so actually it was quite good. During this battle, I got paired against Jack Austin, who's very much out of my league, and playing with Undying Dynasties. But I was like, yeah, let's give it a go. All I said to David was no Sylvan Elves. But as we go through this team sheet, there were no Sylvan Elves available, so that's the the only one I didn't really want to play was Slatch's Demon Lieges. He had the Dark Hide and the continuous drops. But Antoine said he wanted to see how a horde of Vermin Swarm went against it, so he happily took that one, and I got the Undying Dynasties, which, quite frankly, I was very happy with. Going through the army itself, it's a Master Divination. I could see with Essence Mithril he was going to be probably in the Necropolis Guard and coming forward, but I was going to have to look for the Sandstorm Cloak because I'm pretty sure that has sweeping attacks. Yes, that's the one, which is always a pain for Sylvan Elves just because we have no armor. He then had the Pharaoh with Godslayer, so that's probably Necropolis Guard, which means a Tree Father is not going it alone because it won't come out the other side. He's got a Tomb Architect with the Crown of the Wizard King, which is always a bit of a fun item. Either it's going to affect you or not. Yeah, that's the way it goes. I've had a few good ones with that. His Skeleton Chariots. I wasn't so much worried about the chariots as much the shooting and the archers. Just that always hitting on 5+, it just negates all the things I'm doing. But otherwise, I'm quite happy about the skeletons charging into any of my combat threats because I think I'll survive, and then I grind them out actually. The archers itself, I think this was a target that I wanted to go after in the shooting. With my Tree Fathers, I thought when this underscoring, this was going to be what I was going to go for. Just because I think I don't care if they hit on 5+, then they're winning on 6s. It just means I can go after them. They're an easy unit. We then had the skeletons with Banner of Entombed. I didn't really know what to do with this, so my plan was don't plan for it. If they came up, I'm quite maneuverable, so I can probably get out of the way. Otherwise, it's just feeding me, and hopefully, if they're in a bad position, I can go after them as a scoring unit. So I just thought I'm not going to plan for them because I don't. It just would screw up my battle line. Got to get rid of the scouts. Shapti, they're the one unit that I looked at and went, they're terrifying because strength 5 flaming standard. I can't put anything into them, and even if I hit them hard, I'm not sure I hit them hard enough to still win combat res. So that was a unit. Necropolis Guard. Before this game, I should note I highlighted they had lethal strike. I didn't highlight they had poison. So but they're a really good unit actually. But I was thinking in there, I can still handle them. I don't think I can send a unit in on their own, but apart from maybe the Blade Dancers, especially if they're in a forest. But what I can do is fix them with that and then use Tree Fathers and other stuff to countercharge, and then I think I win that fight. And then just the 2 Scarab Swarms. These are ones I'm going to have to worry a bit more about because they're ambushing, and it just meant they could go after my bunker. They're quite annoying. They're really good for that. And then 2 Charnel Catapults. These things are terrifying. I always seem to get hit by them, but they're just very good units, I think, especially for their points balance. They turn up and they do what they're supposed to do. So I always knew that I was going to send my Heath Hunters after them. They were going to be a priority for my scouting and Heath Hunters just to get them out of the way because they have the potential to really do some damage to my 2 combats, the Forest Rangers and the Blade Dancers. I remember the match versus David Bose where they just took took them off completely and neutered them in one turn. It was quite spectacular. That's my list there. Not changed. Yeah. In terms of magic, the only thing I was really swatched out was altered sight for perception of strength, and my reasoning for that was I thought if I have to go in with the Shaptis, if I manage to -1 their strength, then they're wounding me on 6s still, so it makes it better than wounding on 5s with their strength 5. In terms of his, nothing really strange with the divination. I was kind of expecting that, apart from Crown of the Wizard King, what Drew's Quicksilver Lash. The one spell it's not the one I was most concerned about. The most concerned about was, what's the occultism, breath of corruption. That's always my number one that I just don't like. But Quicksilver Lash is still painful for the Tree Fathers, so I think I need to get him into combat. But it's not the end of the world. It's something I can mitigate because it's not as mainly long range. You can't throw it on someone else like cultism. So yeah, I think I'm okay. So this is the map, and that's Jack himself, sporting for Team Wells there. In the map we had a hill, an impassable. There was a wall here. We had another wall here, a field, and a wood, and a river, and there was nothing else on this side. Jack won for the sides, and he took that side, I think, because of the hills, so he could use his chariots on there. It just means they can shoot often, and also it's a good way of charging off. I was happy with this, but my main thing was because of his range shooting that was mainly short range and magic, I actually wanted him to go first. Now, whether that was a good choice or not, but I was quite happy being unmaneuverable and reacting to it. So I let him drop first, or drop the first unit. So he dropped the Shapti that you can see on the left, and then I tend to start always on my right. It's just a thing I have. I've seen a video somewhere where someone recommended it, and I just feel more comfortable doing it if I can. So on this side, I have some Dryads, my small unit, off to this side. He then dropped his Scarabs. You can see there the unit of these 4 here. I dropped my Heath Riders, and my reasoning here is he's got to play quite central, and also that impassable, it means it's something I can hide them both behind. They're not taking part in the battle, so I don't think I've given anything away yet. And then he put his chariots. I put one of my units, Heath Hunters. With Vanguard, I can still redirect, so again, I'm still comfortable. And then he dropped everything else, so he's got the Necropolis Guard with all his characters in there. He's got his skeleton archers there, and then 2 China catapults, and I was really happy with this. These were about here, and they come out, but I'm really happy because this is really unmaneuverable, so I can swing around there very quickly. And also, I don't have to face the Shapti. So my plan was all of this was going to be out of the range of the catapult, of his archers, so they couldn't move forward and fire. And I put these 2 in range because their job was going to be slam up there and go after his archers. These were sort of going to run a delaying action here, push forward, and then delay here between the 2 forests, just as his combat blocks come forward, while the rest of the units all swing around there and kill off his catapults, and then I can start going for his other units. That was a plan. I put them down there because I thought he couldn't see me there, but then I could still move left or right and start picking off these. That was my thought process. But then, so I was pretty happy with that. I think we're basically going to swing around and we'll see what happens. UD turn 1, Jack's moved up quite aggressively on the left because he can. There's no worry for him. On the right, he's moved up a bit slower. The only thing that I didn't see, and this thing, is I thought he couldn't move forward and move round. What he did was he just reformed with his unit really wide, which I didn't see, and that was very stupid of me, because now they're in range of 24 inches, and all I had to do was sit at the back there, and then he wouldn't have been able to do anything, and I could have moved and started blinking away. So, more for me. What happens then is... in Magic, the only thing I'm worried about at this stage is Stars Align because he can't hit me with anything else. Stars Align on the archers, which I stop. But otherwise, he still kills 4 and they run because they're in leadership 8. Discipline 8, sorry. But they stay on the board, which is good. Okay, so it's not the end of the world. That's a success. But it's something I could have mitigated. I didn't need to risk that. And then I could have, because there was plenty of space over there, he would not have been within 24 inches. I absolutely could have mitigated that, but I didn't. But it's something to think about in the future. And then he's managed to shoot off one of my forest rangers with his chariots. Again, not bothered by that. And then his catapult hit. So, in fairness, one of his catapults hit and killed off 8 of these, and his other one lined up, and I thought, that's not good, because he can drop a rock now on one of the wizards, and if they hit, that's one wizard pretty much dead, and then probably put a wound on and kill the rest of the unit. Luckily, he misfired, and then rolled the one that stops him firing for the rest of the game. So I was like, okay, I'll take that. 8 sentinels to lose a catapult, first turn for him, effectively. So really happy with that. My turn. All right, so I thought, stick to the plan. So what I've done is I've very much moved my blade dancers up here, and that's create that space. He's out of range, or it's very, very long. They can't charge there because I'm going to kill them off. So he's got this very long charge out. I think it's out of range. I'm not bothered if his chariots charge in. They've got to go through a wood, so DTs. Then I roll a 3+, Aegis, and I stick because I'm mostly in the wood. And then he gets countercharged by a tree father or that. He charges. Yeah, he might be able to heal the ones he gets DTs on, but he's still only got 6 chariots, so I don't think he's going to choose that one. And also, I don't think he's going to move his Necropolis Guard or Shapti. I think he'll choose one, but I don't think he'll move both in there. I think he'll move the Necropolis Guard up because they can take a good charge, but I don't think he'll move the Shapti up. Otherwise, I'll put both Tree Fathers up, so with magic, they're both in range of these guys, just to make sure I can get them away, because if they're alive, they will push. And that's also why I brought the Heath Hunters here, just definitely make sure I can kill them off. Otherwise, those Heath Hunters are moved up and they can shoot at that one, the remaining catapult, and within 2 turns I should have them. But the Centaurs have also rallied, which is really good. So in good moves there. So I've still got the unit, and they'll come back into play next turn. As you can see, my scoring is staying out of the way and sticking to the plan and going to sit in the corner. And you can see he's already starting to move around. So I think I'm in a good position at this stage, and I think it's going to be one of those. In Magic, obviously my main one, get Oaken thrown up, which I do. As you can see, I've put it on the Impassable in there. And then try and get a Summer's Growth through. Obviously, Jack saw that coming and he stopped it. But I did manage to get Healing Waters off somewhere, I think, because I've managed to bring one of the Sentinels back, which is good in that unit. Right, if you look in Jack's face, he's looking at it with quite some concern, and that's because I had to take off his Sylvan Scout, his his scouting cavalry there. That was done because I had to. So I tried the Tree Father, both of them. They rolled low, didn't do. So I had to use the other Heath Hunters to shoot them. This unit, I'm pretty sure, thinking back at it, alone did 4 wounds. So that's because I rolled that many 5-ups, because it was 5 up to wound at this point. And he was suddenly realizing that actually this army is exceptionally shooty, even if he's neutered my sentinels at the back there. So he can't. I'm about to say he's lost 1 catapult. I'm probably going to take out his other one next turn, and his archers are in significant threat range of my Tree Fathers. I'm going to move up next turn, and then by turn 3 I'm going to be charging them, so he can see that threat. What he does is, I think, was very good. Sorry, I didn't get a good view of this turn. So he's moved his Necropolis Guard up a bit, but importantly, he manages to get a wound through on the Tree Father, and that was from the catapult, which hit. But I was very lucky. I saved. No, he did 1 wound, and then he only did 1 wound. Why did he only do 1 wound? Or was that magic? I think it was magic. But either way, then in shooting, he opens up with. He managed to kill 6 of my forest rangers with his archers, and then he killed a further 3 with the chariots on the blade dancers, which is probably about average. But it was just something to be aware of. As you can see, my plan has worked over here. So for my turn, it's kept. They've obviously come forward, but I've kept this line there. He didn't want to come near me yet. I'm quite happy with that because it gives me another turn to deal, as you can see, with this side. So the plan is working. What I've done is move the Tree Fathers up to go after the archers as planned, but I've had to keep this one back because his Necropolis Guard didn't come so far forward, so I've had to go sideways more to make sure I'm out of their charge arc. One thing that did happen in his turn, he brought his scarab and his tuned up. He brought the scarabs up here, which is a good one to go after my bunker. But again, so maneuverable. So you can see I've countered it already with my heath hunters. I'm happy to take them out of the line for this turn because between magic, I don't want them surviving. So therefore, concentrate on effort. I've got 2 missile spells and 13 shots, strength 4 at that range. I mean, they're going to be wounding on 2s. So I'm hopeful with 10 wounds I should take them off, or at least mitigate it enough that they walk. Yeah, I'm hoping I take them off. He's chosen to put the other one there because he's seen how bad my shooting is. He's like, not a chance that I'm putting them in the middle there. So yeah, and then otherwise in your right, you see my other heath hunters and sentinels getting around there and ready to take out that charnel catapult. In magic, I think he stops ice and fire, and then I get the thaumaturgy spell on to the scarab swarms, and then in shooting I finish them off with the archers. So they're all gone. So pretty happy with that. And then in the remainder of shooting, I take off the catapult, as you can see, and then I managed to kill quite a few of the. I managed to kill the catapult with the sentinels, and then put the heath hunters and the tree father in, and you can see between that and that, quite a few of the skeletons already started to disappear. So yeah, and you can see again Jack's face is looking pretty. He's like, oh, that's painful. So Sentinel Silvernail shooting has turned up really in a good fashion. I'm taking units off. My combat blocks are keeping him back, so I'm feeling quite strong at the moment. I've protected my bunker. He's got no more entombed coming up. He's got no more catapults. His archers are about to go, so he's really only got his range magic, which I'm not too concerned about at the moment, and his skeletons, skeleton chariots. And if they come in really in range, then my blade dancers can go after them. So I'm feeling pretty happy. I still didn't expect his next move, which was to advance. With everything, I probably should have, because actually it's really quite a strong position. I can charge them, but it's in the middle of water, so I'm not steadfast if I don't do anything. If I do this, and if I come forward to here, I get charged by the Shakti and the chariots. So I don't think I win that one. So I've still got to stay back. If I stay there, I can get charged by both of them still. And again, I think between those two, I could just get overmatched over time. The Forest Rangers can't cut. Yeah, so and I can't charge them into there because I think between these two, that just takes them out. Or it was actually not it was a far enough charge range that it would make me think. So it looked quite close from this angle, but it really wasn't. It was like an 11 or a 12 I'd needed still from this range. So he sort of humbugged me there because I really don't want to risk a charge and leave someone out in the open because then they get flanked by some Shapti, or that doesn't go in properly. And at the same time, I don't feel I need it. So I've got a plan, and I'll explain it next turn. But there's something. Well, my plan was then I thought I'll move them sideways. They'll be in a forest still. They've taken away from the Shapti, and then I'll do something with these to keep them out of the way. I might have to reform them and just move backwards or something like that. But that was my plan because I don't think they'll break them in a forest with 3+ ages, and then I'll line up the tree fellas to return charge. In magic and shooting, then he does this, and he just decimates my blade dancers, and he gets 2 wounds on one of the tree fathers as well. Between I think it was a Quicksilver Lash. That changes my thought process. I was like, oh, that's different. I'm not sure how to deal with that now. So it's put me off doing my original plan unless I can force through a Summer's Growth. Right, so my turn. This is the end of my turn, so you can see I've did move the blade dancers across, and I managed to get a Summer's Growth through. But when I put them across with 3 or 4, what I didn't do, what I wanted to do was I probably wanted to turn them around and start moving them that way. What I did instead was just back up, because I think if they overran and there was only 3 or 4 of them, they were going to overrun again. What I also did was I charged the tree father in there, and I decided to move that one to the side so they could flank charge. And my theory was I'll put them on 3+ ward, pray they survive, charge the tree father in, charge forest rangers into whatever's left. And then I brought my shooting round to finish off the final catapult and get rid of these scarabs, just so I can start getting to this Banner of Entombed unit. That was my plan there. And hope I could somehow kill this off, or at least weaken it, and try and keep my forest rangers alive. You'll notice though they are at full strength, or they've got 7 wounds back, and Jack would have thrown all his dice at it. And the reason was I got a miscast, which he, in fairness, he tried to stop, I think, but he didn't, and I killed my druid with wisdom, which is why if you look over there, he's off. That's one problem. The other problem was these guys failed their panic check, so they've ran. And if I fail another leadership one and the BSB is nowhere near them, they're off the board. So that's probably about 1,000 odd points plus, which is not good. So I was like, okay, this could be quite dodgy. I could spend a further 3 turns with no magic support, which is dangerous considering he's still got a bit of shooting, still got quite a bit of magic, and I'm about to get charged from the Necropolis Guard in the centre. So this could be quite fun. Yeah. And that's what happens. He charges the Necropolis Guard with his Godslayer into there. So I'm in there. I was like, okay, 3+ Aegis. So I'm in with the skeletons. I'm going to kill them off next turn. With between Crumble, D6, etc. That's fine. He can't chaff me with anything else. So I'm going to kill them. I'm going to turn them, and I'm going to charge both my Tree Fathers into this because I'm going to choose 3+ Aegis and hold them here. That was my thought at the start of this turn, of his turn. The rest of his time, he moves the Shapti forward, he's moved the Skeleton Chariots around, so it's all quite good here. He's kept what was his best move was keeping them here. By keeping them here, I can't move my shooting to start whittling down here, because actually between turns 4, 5, and 6, I reckon 10 he does have a good chance of 2 turns of whittling them down and then charging them and potentially killing the unit. So by keeping these scarabs here, he's actually stopped me coming forward, and I can't touch the Banner of Entombed. It also gives him a bit of a bunker for his Architect there, just to keep throwing Skinning Lashes there, and that was really, really good. Otherwise, he's moved these around here that can weaken the Forest Rangers and his Shaptir coming forward, and I just cannot stop them, so I have to deal with this now. Otherwise, next turn, the Shaptir are just going to ruin my army, or these 2 combat threats, and take a scoring unit out. Which is what I was most concerned about at the moment. So because I think I'm about to go 1 up on the objective. So I think if I turn them around and move them away, maybe that would have been a better option last turn. So also in the centre, you can see that a lot of magic dice. So remember what I said about I'd choose 3+ Aegis. For some reason, I thought, no, I can win this. I can go for them with +1 attack. I can go and beat them in combat rares. I'll hold on, and then the next turn I can use 3+ Agents 5. Because of that, my main concern was to stop scrying, which was really, really stupid, because I should have stopped Stars Align, taken the 3+ Aegis, because this is what happens. Yeah. I lose the entire unit. I only kill 6. He's destroyed me on combat res, and I'm no longer stubborn because my only one left is my BSB, and because he's not light troops, he only gets light troops when he's part of the unit. They're not stubborn anymore. So I not only, and as you can see, I've done it well. I've got 2 Tree Fathers at this point. So if he's stuck there, I've got 2 Tree Fathers going into the flank with his Hierophant, his Godslayer, everything. I win that combat. Even if they die in the end, Thunderstorms, I still absolutely destroy this unit. This was where I said I forget poison. I went for +1 attack. I completely forgot about. No, I didn't read poison properly. So I knew the lethal strike. I was like, yeah, it doesn't affect Aegis. Poison's really, really bad against Blade Dancers because there's nothing you can really do about it. So, yeah. So, fair play to him. And that means they overrun. And now they're out of the charge arc of my right-hand Tree Father because I haven't pivoted enough. And they go into the Forest Rangers, which is my scoring unit. So I was 1 up for about 1 turn. Going to my turn, I failed that leadership rally check on my sentinels with the general, and they run off as well. So I've lost both my magic, all my magic, some significant stuff, my blade dancers, my BSB, and probably my forest rangers over this turn. That's the forest ranger's dead. He's just taken out his unit. It's still there, but I did manage to get my tree father into the back of them, and he started chomping them. So there's not many of them left, but there was like one left after this. But it's his turn. I'm not going to be able to stop all the raises, and they're all going to be on that unit because the wizard's there. So, yeah, I'm in a bit of trouble here, but I still think I need to. So I need to get a second unit killed off. I have no other option apart from go after this necropolis. I don't think I've got in 2 turns. I can't kill the banner of the entombed, and I've lost too many points at this point. So my main thing was I need to spend points now in terms of tree file and risk with the Godslayer to go after the remainder of the necropolis guard, which is what I do. But it does mean in his turn he can charge the Shapti into my unit, which he does. So turn 5 there, he's in. In fact, so I think I've missed a turn here. So we spend 2 turns as his Shapti come forward. So I think there's 2 turns here with Forest Rangers in combat with them, etc., etc. So I think this is Silvernail's turn 4, turn 5. I got a bit confused, but either way, Shapti charge in, and I've got to. And as you can see from his magic, he's raised his Necropolis Guard. So my only hope is between his. He's got paired weapons with the champion, so he gets 9 attacks from the Shapti in front and 6 behind, so 15 attacks because of paired weapons and a flaming banner. He can't kill the tree father, so that I get to go against the unit and try and whittle them down because it's my turn next. If I can, and the tree father probably dead between Godslayer and everything else. If he survives, it's a miracle, and I possibly don't want him to survive. But in my this is UD turn 5. Yeah, that makes sense. Sorry, UD turn 5. I think he sticks. Either way, that's my theory there. Where I need to kill that Necropolis guard. I've got enough shooting that I can shoot them off. That's UD turn 5. He's completely he's left the Scarab there and moved his Architect, and this is quite good as well because it means I have to deal with them in my next turn to sort of have a go at this. Otherwise, he's moved his to Banner of Doom there, so my only option for scoring is this unit here. So it means I have to throw a bit of stuff at it. In combat, he fails to kill the Tree Father, and I get a load of stuff back. I don't kill the unit, but there's only 2 left, and I've got enough shooting around them. I'm feeling pretty good. What I didn't realise, and this was one of the problems, is I put my unit ahead of the overrun. So now the Shapti have overrun into my unit of Heath Hunters, which is 390 points that I've just given him, which is not clever, which is probably worth a battle point. That wasn't clever, but it's something it's probably one of my worst elements of my game now. I'm getting to grips a bit more with deployment. I used to be really bad, so I'm getting better at that, I think. But this one, I still can't. I still find myself in weird situations, and I'm just like, how do I? It seems so obvious now. I mean, this is it. So this is it. I mean, this is the good scenario. So this is it. They've overrun there, and I effectively move them forward to shoot at something, and you can just this is where the good players come out. Like someone like Jack has seen this and gone, "Yep, I'll do that. I'm gonna kill you there. I know I'm gonna overrun here because you've let me," and he's already worked that out, not me. So yeah, my turn. I think this is the final turn. I think this is actually turn 6, but what I do is I know this. So my 2 targets are I've got to ignore this for a bit. My target, I can kill the Tomb Architect, which is more points than just finishing off the Scarab Swarms. And I've got to kill these 2 here because not only do I get the unit, but it also means I get the objective. So that's 3 battle points, and that might swing it for me. Or at least I was thinking about here, that might get me that 12-8. Switch out or 13-7. It'll be in his favour because I've lost a lot of points, but that might be the balance here. So what I do is I line the tree father, the sentinels up. I get the heath hunters here so that they can shoot the two marketeers if necessary, but they can also shoot into this. Sentinels take aim first. Done. Take off those final two, and then the heath hunters shot into the two marketeer, kill it off. I don't think we called it there. We just went, look, there's nothing else we do, and that's it. Yeah. Brilliant game. I think I was in control at the beginning, and then Jack just totally took me out. And the mistake was deciding to change tactics on something that was the right idea. Stop stars line, choose 3+ Aegis, countercharge with both tree fathers, and then I think suddenly those two going in, I think I'd have beaten the Necropolis Guard. I could have countercharged with the Forest Rangers still into the Shapti and still had a go at them, but I think I would have won that combat. And in fact, I could have charged the Forest Rangers in as well in the centre because they weren't far away. And yeah, I think I'd have won that in the centre. Just mowing his troops down. That's a lot of points. And even then, if Shapti come in, they kill one unit, and then the rest of everyone just bomb bursts away. I get the objective. Yeah, I think I could have won that game there, but could have, should have, would have. Yeah, as it turns out, that's it. So yeah, I lose by 40. I lose 14-6, but then I've got the secondary, so it's 11-9. But that's better than I thought it was. I thought it was going to be a 12-8 because I knew I'd lost a lot. One thing I'm finding with this is actually a leadership 8 is not that much. It's quite useful having leadership 9. There's a few turns now when my wizards have just ran away, and it's been quite funny. And you'll see that a few times in the other games, but it's just something. But either way, the Tree Fathers did really well. Blade Dancers not so much. Yeah, they didn't do well this game, but and neither did the Forest Rangers. But that's probably that's very much my fault. The Heath Hunters did very well. They're becoming a really strong unit. I really like them actually. In terms of his unit, a Necropolis Guard should have read Poison, but yeah, I think they're a cool unit actually. Between Lethal Strike and Poison, especially with paired weapons, I mean they're offensive 6 or defensive 6, and they're really high. It's a really good unit. I'm surprised you didn't see. Maybe they just get forced out by other stuff, but I think it's a really cool army. But yeah, no, it was a really fun game actually. I think we all enjoyed playing our opponents. Yeah, we managed to get a 40 out of this one, which we were really happy with. Anton went down hard to slash his Demon Legions list, I think it was, and he was like, oh, which fair play. I mean, who he's playing as well is top class player, and yeah, you've seen my battle report against you, Scarlins, with that. I mean, I got 20 nailed. Anton got, I think, 3 or 4 points, maybe between 2 and 4. So he's done 2 to 4 points better than me. I couldn't deal with it. And then yeah, we had some good games overall. We were very happy. Yeah, it was a really good day to end the game. Had a great time playing Jack. Yeah, I hope to play him again soon. See if I can pay him back the favour and beat him. It's probably going to take me a few games though. Anyway, thank you for watching. On that, this is Hobby Corner. I thought I'd show my army this time. I'm really happy with how it's come on. I'm glad I spent lockdown repainting quite a bit of this and just doing the theme. Apologies for the bent blade there with the blade dancer. I have repaired that now because this was after game 4 where it happened. But I'm really happy with how this has worked out. It's very quite themed. I enjoy playing with it. It's just something that I quite like. So yeah, I'm really proud of it. And hopefully my winter army won't take me years to build, though I started in August last year and I've still not really got that far ahead. Yeah. But otherwise, another army on parade for Team Viking Extravaganza. Thank you for watching. That's AAA Wargaming. I hope this recording works. Thank you very much.